Welcome to the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast. This is the space where we explore the wisdom, habits, and life experiences of extraordinary guests who remind us sometimes the most meaningful progress begins by slowing down. Together, we'll discover practical ways to reconnect with ourselves, move through life with greater purpose, cultivate calm in a busy world, and live each day with more clarity, intention, and joy. I'm Kendra Chapman, your host, and today we're sitting down with Heather Holmes, one of the most sought-after professionals in the world of public relations. With more than a decade of experience helping purpose-driven brands tell their stories, Heather believes that great public relations is about far more than media coverage. It's about creating meaningful influence and building brands that make the world measurably better. Heather studied conscientious capitalism and free markets with the Fund for American Studies at Georgetown University, with a focus on philanthropy, and earned her bachelor's degree from Wittenberg University. Throughout her career, she's combined strategic communications with a passion for purpose, helping organizations amplify their mission while making a lasting difference. If you've ever wondered how authentic storytelling can open doors, grow your impact, and create opportunities that align with your values, this conversation is for you. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's get started. Heather, I just want to say thank you for agreeing to sit down with us today on the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I wish I had a little bit more coffee in my cup. I'm out for the day, but I'm really excited to be here.
Before we get into your story and all things Heather Holmes, do you mind just sharing a little bit about how you're going slow to go fast these days?
Absolutely. Well, I'm the founder of Publicity for Good, and I'm a mama. I have 4 under 4, and I just had a baby. Had him at home, so I have all my babies at home. Definitely took some time off. I was home probably with him for 30 days fully. He's now at the office with me, which I get a lot of joy in. Going slow to go fast. I'm in a go slow, but let's go fast, mode. And that we were literally talking about how with your journey, your triplets are older and my kids are so young. I really want to get to a place where when they're like 10 or 9 or 10, I could be way more present, like watching them get homeschooled and be in all those things too, right? We did just find an incredible nanny, and that's been the first time in 3.5 years that we had help, if that makes sense. So it takes a village. Like running a company, you have to have a lot of incredible people doing different things, but this is the first time that we have a nanny, and that's been a blessing to see someone pour into your kids that are maybe they're using their God-given talent and they're making your kids feel so loved. You know what I mean? And maybe you're tired for the day. They're pouring into your kids and it fills their soul up and everything. So
yes,
that's my answer.
It's hard to find good people, so that's amazing that you found somebody to join your inner circle.
For sure. And what's so interesting is full circle, a publicist messaged me and she's like, hey, a national media member is working on a story. They need commentary. Do you know of any of our clients that would want to talk about this? They're talking about how in rural communities there's such a shortage of good childcare. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and I can talk about that because we literally live in the mountains of North Carolina and I loved it and I miss it. But we moved to Nashville just because there's more structure, more people. But I definitely wish in rural communities, there would be more of parents working together, collaborating, your resources to work together in a bartering system, because finding support is very hard and finding good support is very hard.
Yes. 2 things that I want to say to that. When we were looking for childcare, it was going to be astronomical for triplets, obviously, same age. I mean, infants, they charge so much more for any kind of daycare services. So we looked at the au pair route. with that, you have to be okay with someone living in your home and having a bedroom for them. And there's certain criteria for that. So we went that route, and that was a godsend. But yeah, we didn't get a lot of help outside of that. And they have specific hours. So, I'm going to work as an educator and principal, and they're taking care of the kids. My husband's at work. And so as soon as my husband got home, they were off. So it was like you had no help outside of that window. It was like just during the working hours. So at night, all the routines and everything, you really have to kind of help, all hands on deck. So it's amazing that you can
Yeah.
have somebody.
It takes a
Yeah.
village for sure.
And then, the other thing is there's an untapped resource, I think, with schools. And I'm just going to say this because we need to get into your story. I've always thought that if we could have daycares attached to schools, it would be amazing for teachers, because then when they have their kids going, they're having their babies, to get them to where they can get back into the classroom. They're going to pay for daycare and run and get and all the things. And I noticed that when I was a principal, I was able to have a daycare literally through a church right next to my building. So I could literally drop my babies off, knowing they're in good hands, and walk over to my school. Not everybody has that. But if we could, we just need to restructure the way childcare is handled in this country, for sure.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, kudos to you, Mama. 4 under 4. I didn't do that.
You had 3 boys all at once.
Yeah, I did.
Do they run? Do triplets and twins run in your family?
Twins do on both sides. And the doctor said we had to use fertility process because my husband had a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Truth be known, there are ways that you can still have children when that happens, but they had to do workaround. So we went through the in vitro fertilization process. And when you have that, there's always the possibility, but it was 2 eggs and 1 split. So yeah, identicals, they're going to find me somehow. And that's how they found me.
Well, I feel like every time I see typically people that I know, I see so many oftentimes people that do IVF have multiples.
Mm-hmm. And it's because they put in the drugs they use to get the eggs where they need them to be is one thing. And then also they usually put in multiple eggs, not like optimum egg number, but they have to see how many are going to be healthy and sustained. So it was more than 1 egg, but so interesting. Somebody had a sense of humor.
Well, but when did you find out you were having triplets? At what part in the process?
When you're in that process and they know you're going through that, they check you pretty regularly. So I found out, I think it was transfer in January. And by February, I knew that we were having multiples. Yeah.
I can't imagine feeding and changing 3 diapers. Well, I'm changing 4 diapers at the same time. They're different sizes.
Yeah, you are.
I have all the different size diapers. But
yeah,
it's the balance of, which cry needs most, and that's a challenge in itself,
yes,
right?
it is. I tell you, mine were in the NICU for 10 days because they were premature. Everybody that has multiples usually are going to have some. They're going to come early. So mine came at 34 weeks. And that was great, according to my doctors. They were like, that's fabulous. We'll take that any day. But the NICU nurses, they taught me how to do it all. So they said, you're going to do this for your routine every time. You put them, change them, then you feed them, then you swaddle them, and then you repeat. And if, you do that every 2 hours, then you're going to stretch it out and try to do it every 3 hours and then 4 and so. So I'm sure you're doing a little bit of that too with all 4 stages of diapers. All the different sizes. How do you keep up? Do you ever put the wrong size on the wrong kid?
No, but now we're so much the same size that
okay,
2 of them can wear the same size diaper.
That's good. Pull-ups. Are you in a pull-up stage yet?
We're in potty training and pull-ups.
Mm-hmm. Now, my preschool teachers, this is a cool story. When I was a principal, when I was an assistant principal is when I had the boys, my preschool teachers, we had a center. It was amazing. There was like 8 preschool teachers in my building. They were amazing. And they were like, girl, we're not getting you a present for your shower. We're going to get your boys potty trained when it's time. And I was like, sold. So they potty trained the boys for me. It was great. Yeah.
I love that.
So it takes a village. It does. Yeah. So, Heather, being a mom and a mompreneur, somebody who's running a business, creating an empire, and a mom with 4 under 4, how are you making it all work outside of having a nanny and I'm sure an amazing partner?
Yeah. I say a lot of coffee and a lot of Jesus. And I feel like I am trying to, it's so interesting. It's like, I, I always said I wanted to build PFG to be $1 million or $1 million company. And of course, if you bring in $1 million, like you're not netting that because you have the team and overhead and taxes. I wanted to do $1 million by the time I was 30, and we did. And then I met Austin, my husband, like 28 and everything. And then he got out of the Navy and he started helping me scale the company. Um, I'm now in like a rebuilding phase. I'm trying to reinvent who I am. And I feel like I've been stuck in the identity of being a pregnant mom who's scaling a business. So how I do it all, I think, is a matter of necessity. I can't not push my clients. We can't not pay our team. Like, I can't not show up because we've put so much into this that I feel like we're at a breaking point, as in, like, we're so close to coming out on the other side, if that makes sense, to something
Yeah.
even greater. But how I do it all is with my team, systems, really ownership of roles. And like I say, like we have a very traditional home. Austin runs a house and all those things, but our roles are very much divided in. Like he makes the decisions, very traditional, but we look at what we're good at from a logistical perspective and like lean into. So it definitely takes a village. And I think there's sometimes where you have to focus on some things over the other.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. So, when did you decide that that's what you wanted to do? Like, it sounds like you're very goal oriented.
Well, I think a couple of things. My dad died of cancer my senior year of high school, and then my uncle was a really successful entrepreneur, and I saw my direct family build, like, they owned all the apartments at Ohio State. Like, it's a joke about Italian mafia, but, like, think humble. Like, my dad was a GC, sweatpants cut off, concrete on a sweatpants, working hard and taking care of what you've been giving and everything. So I think that has been the start of it. And then I feel like Publicity for Good and this vision and what we do, like I was given this for a reason, and I just need to steward my calling. And now even greater than that, like we have a family and we have teammates and we have clients. So I just feel very responsible to steward what we have and not squander it.
It's great to get into the minds of entrepreneurs when we get the opportunity, when I get to sit down with you. But I think it's even more special when I get to talk to female bosses, moms, and just kind of get an idea of like, what's your motivation and how do you keep going? So, are there days where you feel like you haven't been able to do all the things for the business or all the things for the kids or the family? Is that a normal feeling? Like, how do you fill your cup up so you keep going?
Yeah. So my cup right now is like so simple, but it's like evening nights, cuddling with the kids, like watching cartoons. I got up at 5 this morning, fed the baby, came to the office like at 6:30. I was supposed to work out before, but I came here to reach out to prospective clients. So I think it's just grace and hitting it hard every single day, and I've always learned that the struggle, there's always a miracle. Like, you know what I mean? There
Hmm.
could be one miracle or one new client that starts and all those things. So it's like a, always evolving thing.
When do you do your thinking? Is it in the car, in the shower, or when you wake up, right before you go to bed?
I do all my thinking in the car, in the shower. I'm supposed to have this like perfect morning, journaling,
Yeah.
sitting down, all the things, but I'm not there yet, if that makes sense.
But that's okay. I mean, that's real life. I think that's where, like, I'm in the messy middle of midlife, and I think I'm supposed to have it all together. I just don't know. I don't think anybody
Well,
has it all
that's it.
together
Your
all
hair's
the time.
grown, your nails are done. Like, that's how I want to be when I grow up.
Well, and I will full disclosure, like this doesn't always happen this way. So for the majority of the podcast, my nails are not done. And my hair, there have been some moments where my hair has been crazy. So, and it's on camera. But yes, thank you. I mean, there are days where I look more put together than others. You know, those good hair days, good makeup days. You just wish you could reproduce those every day. But
But
we're
where I'm at
moms.
now, though, is like, I always keep telling myself, I want to be the mom that I wish I would have had.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a mean way, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't my mom's not much of a hugger, and you know what I mean? Those things, I'm like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, that's, like, my why behind, like, going to the gym and all of those things, because I know if I grew up in the environment of, like, learning how to cook and curling your hair and going to the gym, some of those things would be easier for me. So, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying you have to do it, but I'm saying, like, I want my kids to have the confidence to do those things, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. It does. I think I think we all do that when we are figuring out parenting, and it could be before the baby comes or while the babies are young. I mean, I can remember that feeling of this is how I want to be a parent. But then when you get in that moment and they're pushing back at you and they're saying no, you're like, and then they ask you why, and you say, because I said so, or whatever your mom would say. And you're like, oh, I'm doing the same things. So, I mean,
It's like you catch yourself and I'm like, "Oh,
they teach you so much.
you're right. Our kids do teach us so much."
Yes, they do. Yes. So, yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of like more mom things that I want to ask you because I can remember that stage where mine were all little. And I remember asking my friends, does it ever get better? Like, I remember thinking, I can't wait till they're doing this. I can't wait for the next stage. And now I'm like, I know this is going to go so fast. I need to be just in the moment. But those days are so long and those years are so fast. Yeah. I mean, I'm just wondering, like, do you journal? Do you write stuff down? Like, how are you capturing all that stuff, those milestones?
Not, and I need to, or I need to create a
Yeah.
system around that. I'm excited. My husband and I started our family tenets and vision, and we're going on marriage retreat at the end of the month. And it's all about, like, the legacy planning and what's your family
Mhm.
and tenets and w what do you do as a family? Like, rites of passage, right? It's like when your daughter's 13, like, do you have to have a birthday party or do you take her camping? It's just, like, all the intentionality of, like, really doing what's in align with you and your family and being
Mm.
intentional with everything, but I'm really excited for that.
Well, that's exciting. Yes. I think some people just kind of take on whatever traditions they're used to, or they throw out the ones they don't want to do and they create new ones. But I love that you're being intentional about it.
We're mapping it out and, like, it's gonna be written down and everything. And, like, I know the vision for us is definitely, like, big home, hundreds of acres, allowing our kids to live with us for as long as they need or want, like, kinda going back to more of the basics of, like, we don't wanna push our kids out, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
a lot of great content of great families where it's different generations living together, working towards the same goal, right? Like, that's
Hmm.
the vision that we definitely want to create.
Well, before we got on this, recording and started the podcast, we were talking about the Mennonite neighbors I have down the street. I mean, that's what they're all about is continuing those traditions and living in the home until you're married. And even then you can still live in the home. I mean, and I see a lot of American culture and back to that. And so, like you mentioned, you have ties to Italian heritage. I mean, that's big in the Italian culture. I could
Yeah,
see more families starting to do that where they have multiple generations in the home and it's okay again. Because that's how it used to be 100 years ago.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I love that you're doing that intentionally. So good for you. So you are just creating your business, you're building your family, you've got intentional planning for what that's going to look like too. It's getting me thinking about things too and from my boys. But what are your next step? What's your big mountain coming up? Like what are your next steps in building your business? What's that going to look like in 5, 10 years?
Yeah, so we're moving office locations, which is really exciting. Having conversations with acquiring other companies. I mean, just want to build the best purpose-driven PR agency for brands. That's the biggest goal. And big goal is to build it to $100 million company, but it's doesn't matter if it takes 5 years or 90 years. Like, we're just committed to the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately, like, just continuing to build a company so, you know, it's not as dependent upon me for success. There's so much that is done without me, and I'm so grateful. But just getting to a point where things run.
Mm-hmm.
You're good.
Let the traffic go through for a minute. Hi, boys. We'll talk after, okay?
Okay.
They're kind of elephants coming through.
Good.
They ride the bus,
Okay.
and in the afternoon, my husband drives them in the morning because they want to have a little bit of the bus
I
experience.
like it.
Their bus driver is amazing. He and his wife make them baked goods on Fridays, so they get like a little brownie or a little cookie on Friday afternoon. So cute. So my husband just he rides the TV down to the end of the drive and waits for the bus, and the bus drops right in front of at our road, our mailbox. It's great. Yeah. So they ride up on the four-wheeler. All right. So thank you. Sorry about that.
Good. You're good.
So thinking about your plans to build your business and to scale and uh, all the things that you want to accomplish, how are you going to, as the, you know, I'm thinking, you know, how are you going to keep it with your same vision and mission? Like, I really want to get into your mompreneur brain about how you keep things consistent, even though you're scaling. Like, what is going to be your vision to make sure that everybody understands what Heather Holmes wants her business to be like, and the publicity for good? Like, how are you going to keep the good going?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a couple of things. I think going back to, like, I started the company, but now Austin runs it with me, and now I just focus on delivering clients and pitching. Um, what I was going to say though is, like, everyone knows our client-centric mission and tenets. So we use that. We talk about it on calls every quarter. We have culture calls and everything. So we use that, our tenets, our vision, our mission. We have an all hands. So we're always touching those things and talking about those things.
Love that you're focusing on culture. I really would love to see more businesses do that work because I think that's where you sustain.
For sure. I would say it's focused on culture, but then it's also focused on, like, everyone has a clear roadmap of performance, right? So it's like everyone here has certain metrics and KPIs, and they know what they need to do to grow in their position, right?
Right?
So people have personal responsibility if they want to grow to provide more value, be innovative, all those things.
Yes, yes. And there might be some educators who listen to this because of my previous profession. So, do you mind just explaining what KPIs are? Because we hear standards and we hear
Yeah.
like test scores.
So it would be like a key performance indicator. So key metrics that you're responsible for, and they're typically tracked daily and or monthly, and there's leading and lagging indicators. So like a leading indicator could be, you going to the gym every day or drinking X number of water or things that are in your control. And then the lagging indicator would be the outcome. And now you're responsible for both, but really it's the leading indicator that if you do the reps every single day, or if you do this every single day with a student to teach them, the leading indicator should absolutely impact the lagging indicators. And of course, there's data. If we don't have any data, then how do we make a good choice or decision based on someone's role or capability? So that's why, the tracking of metrics is so important.
Makes sense. Yeah. And I don't know any companies out there that aren't using data if they're successful, right? For somebody who's listening right now out there and wanting to either build a business or is thinking about doing something different, but they have a family and they want to focus on family as well, but they see that in your future, building a business, what would be your message for that?
Well, I think it's important to have clarity of what your goal is. Do you want to make money to pay for your child's childcare? Do you want to retire your husband? Like, do you want to build a big business and have a bunch of employees, right? Each has its pros and cons, but you need to get clarity of what you want. Because if you want to make an extra $1,000 a month, there might be better options for you other than starting a business. So I think you first have to get clarity on what the outcome is that you want. If you want freedom and flexibility, I see so many local Facebook groups of entrepreneurs needing help so I think you first have to get clarity on what does success look like, but what's reasonable with where you are in life, and then get clarity on what is your skill. Because you could offer your services or reach out to a couple people and start there, right? But I think you need to have clarity on your target.
You definitely need clarity, know who you are and what you offer and how to make that happen. But I think, like you said, it's also, I think it's about networking and making sure that you can get the word out there. So companies like yours, Publicity for Good, is a way to connect and help you to
Yeah.
grow your business as well. So what kind of services do you offer your clients?
So we help our clients with PR, so getting you in the media, on podcasts, on TV, on magazines, all those things. So if you're in a small town, if you're close to Nashville, right? Like we'll look at all the cities around you, and everything we do is virtual, so you don't have to travel. We come up with the messaging, we get you on podcasts, and then we also manage social media as well as influencers. So we do
Yeah.
it all.
And for somebody like me, that can be very helpful because you can't do it all yourself. There's just no time in the day.
For sure.
Yeah. So, Heather, do you have any other, I guess, words of wisdom for mamas out there that are thinking about building a business? What else do you want to share?
I definitely think like joining masterminds, finding other friends who are doing what you do that are ahead of you is really important. And then if you're a mom and you want to scale a company, taking advice from someone who doesn't have kids, right? You need to find someone that's ahead of you that's living the life that you want. If you're living nomadically and you want to travel and all of those things, then you should find someone who's traveling the world and building a business, right? You should always take advice from someone that's living the life that you want, not only from a financial perspective, but the life that you want as it relates to their life as a whole.
And you shared just a little bit about that. You did live in an Airstream when you were first starting out. Can you talk a little bit about that life and if you're missing any of that or if you're really happy with what you're doing now as well?
Love what we're doing, but of course I always miss the Airstream. It was simple, not many clothes. I mean, living the simple life. Working full time from an Airstream, 12-hour days, like at the time hanging with my boyfriend, then fiance, it was a sweet season. We could stay up late, work as much as we wanted, leave whenever we wanted. Like that was such a good season. We always longed for a family and there was always intentionality, but of course, that was such a sweet season.
So how many kids did you have before you shifted out of the Airstream life?
We didn't have any. I was pregnant with the first in the Airstream, and then Rose lived in the Airstream in our little snuggle me for like 4 or 5 months. I mean, it was sweet. Such sweet moments with a little baby in an Airstream, and who doesn't love an Airstream? It's good for content, they're fun. Like, I think why it was so cool to be on the road in the Airstream was we met so many people. We were on the Airstream because we were trying to figure out where we wanted to live. That was
Mm,
the whole tour, is we traveled the country, going to communities, meeting people, all the things. And, we met with a lot of people on the road at national parks who were way older, and they had a lot of regrets, or they could, barely climb the hill. So, definitely excited to get the kids on the road again.
yeah.
Although, bring it up and Austin's like, "Okay, they need to be able to take care of themselves, walk themselves." So probably, like, when they're 10, 11, 12, and older. So I
Mm,
still have time, but, we would love to take them in a van to, like, South America, and we've talked about the boat life. Like, I definitely in the future wanna be able to take the family because 'cause we'll homeschool them, we'll hire a teacher, but, like, go work from Italy for the summer and immerse them in the culture. So that's the vision. We have some time, but definitely need to get some more systems and scale in place at the business, but I'm loving the thought and very eager to get on the road again.
Yeah, I can understand that. I remember when the boys they weren't walking yet, or they were just starting to walk. And I could put one in a onesie, and then I had two in a stroller. And then I found a stroller that had like a kangaroo pouch seat at the front. It was amazing.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
felt so free that I could move with them, but they were contained.
Nice.
Oh, this is so cool. But then, when they start walking and they go all the different directions, that's a whole other ball of wax. But we actually took the boys cross country in 2021. That was like, after COVID, but people were going to the parks more. We did that and we rented a camper van. We drove to Idaho for a family reunion from here, and that was crazy, but it was fun. I mean, best moments, memories for sure.
I love that.
Yeah, and those campsites are a whole other subculture I had no idea about. Yeah, for sure. Like, you got to know what you're doing. You're pulling in with the camper and what to hook up and where to go and what to do, and yeah. I don't know if I'll do that again, because with the Airstream, it wasn't like you were hooking up generators and stuff, right? You were very offline.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
We had power and water, so we would just like
Okay.
hook up. So it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty quiet, I'm sure, too.
Yeah.
So do you still own an Airstream, or you had to?
Get rid of it. It's like a
Okay.
child. When the pandemic hit, I pitched the media and we got so much press, like Business Insider, the New York Post.
I bet. I bet.
Her name is Treya. She has a name. We'll never get, like, we
Yeah.
love.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. You just have to see how many, can you get all the kids in there, or is that something you're just going to add to the camper when you get a camper?
I think we'll
Could you
have to.
have an Airstream?
There's ones that
Okay.
have beds. I think we have to get a new one. Not a new one, but like a one that has bunk beds and is bigger.
Yes. Yes. And I think just taking the family camping is just so fun. It would be, yeah, lots of vlogging, material that you could put on YouTube.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
fun. Well, besides camping and maybe getting in an Airstream and maybe doing more cross country road trips with the kids, what are some other things that you're thinking about for your babies when they get a little bit older?
Taking them to events, taking them to conferences I'm speaking at, how help business, all the things.
Yeah, that would be fun. Because I think it's important for kids to see their parents working and what they do and how they manage that. It's important, I think, for my boys to see that I'm still working. I'm just in the home and this is what I do. And when I'm working, don't interrupt me, but I'm here for you. I think it's good for them to see that structure.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
that's fun. Well, they're going to learn so much from you guys, and just the flexibility to be able to transition, into a different lifestyle. That's huge. Do you guys have a garden yet? Are you planning on putting any kind of fruits and
Yeah,
vegetables in?
I am planting seeds and we started seeds in baggies. My only seeds that are growing are zucchini, pak choy. Did you know there's a pak
Yeah.
choy instead of a bok choy?
I've heard of it. I haven't grown that yet. No.
So zucchini and bok choy is the only thing growing right now. We're moving out of a house we're in to a new house at the end of June, but I have some seeds planted.
And when you're in the transition of possibly or going to be moving, you don't want to plant anything permanent. So you want to have planters, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Because I have planters. I have them all over the place and I collect them. So even if I could plant a garden on my 100 and some odd acres, I still have planters for sure. So that's cool. I like to keep them close to me because the deer, they like to get a
So
little
what's
invasive.
and not deer? Do you have a lot of ticks where you are?
Yes.
So that's a whole new thing. In North Carolina, like we lived on 2 acres, lots of trees. We had chickens. There was a season we didn't have chickens. Never saw ticks. We're in a neighborhood right now, and the amount of ticks that I've found in the last stays on my kids and everything. And we have
Yes.
an incredible brand called Sawyer, and everyone knows who they are, and they help protect from ticks and everything. But the whole new thing, I've been like in the trenches, like I hate
That's a
ticks.
good thing to know. And chickens do help, of course. They're going to cut down on ticks. Yes. We have another house on the property, and we have a family living in the house right now. They're building their own house. And so they have several little ones, and they have chickens, which has cut down on some things, but they're not up by our house. And so, yeah, we're not getting the benefits from having chickens or close by. So I think ticks are bad. Good to know. Well, is there anything else that you want to make sure that our listeners and viewers hear before I let you go?
No, I would just say if there's anything we can do to help, and if you want to get into the media, definitely reach out to Publicity for Good. We've worked with a lot of incredible purpose-driven brands to build their story, get them in the media. So definitely reach out.
I will make sure that we put all of Heather's information in the show notes so you can contact her and follow up and find out more. I know that everybody's going to enjoy this conversation, a little bit of mom, a little bit of entrepreneur, and future planning. So thank you for your time.
Perfect.
That's it for today's episode of the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast.
In today's conversation, Heather reminded us that building a meaningful legacy often begins with a simple dream, but it's a thoughtful plan and consistent action that brings that dream to life. We also explored the balance of being a mompreneur, showing that it's possible to grow a business while creating a life and legacy that matter most.
And trusting that small, intentional steps can lead to extraordinary transformation. Whether you're just beginning your journey or you're well on your way, I hope today's conversation encourages you to keep going. If someone came to mind while you were listening to this show, I hope that you'll consider sharing this episode with them and everybody else that you know who could use a little just encouragement, some positive encouragement that can become that spark to get you back into whatever routine that you abandoned, or thinking of something else that can help you move forward and meet your goals. So if you're enjoying this podcast, I'd be so grateful if you'd consider leaving a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen, because your review can help more people discover the podcast, and it can also help us to continue bringing you those conversations and stories that inspire healthier, slower, and more intentional living. So simply go online to Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen and just simply type in "keep going slow." That's all you have to say. Or "keep going slow, glow on," or "keep up the great work." Until next time, remember, the light in me honors the light in you. And as you head into the rest of your week, let your light shine through. Go slow to go fast. And as always, thanks for listening.